Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jake and today we're going to be talking about Crimson Desert, and I have only two words to describe this game. Holy shit. Now it is Gamescom week and of course there are a bunch of games being shown off, and the game that caught my attention the most currently is Crimson Desert. This game looks absolutely incredible. And so I just want to talk about it a little bit because, I do have some feedback to give to the developers if for some reason they ever see this video, but I also just want to share how great this game looks. Now, when we first saw this game, a good couple of years ago now, I think, when it was revealed, I wasn't really sure what it was. I knew it was from the developers of Black Desert, which I never really got into because I'm not a very big MMO person. And from what I could understand, it was essentially just a single player version of that. And I think that is still what it is. I'm still not 100% sure. I know it's a single player action adventure game, but that is pretty much all I know. But we got 4 new gameplay snippets at Gamescom, each one revealing a brand new boss in the game, and the vibe that I was getting from this was The Witcher. Now, hold on a second, I'm not talking about the actual atmosphere of the game or the design or anything like that. Obviously it's very different from The Witcher, but I just mean in terms of gameplay and the gameplay loop, it looks a lot like Witcher. Now this could just be because they're showing off the bosses a lot, so my brain is jumping to Witcher contracts and stuff like that. But from the marketing here, it is making it look like it is a bit of a boss rush type game. Now, as for the actual bosses they've shown here, they look absolutely incredible, or at least most of them do. There was one that was like a giant crab, which I wasn't too interested in, but the rest looked incredible. First of all, I want to talk about the actual action in the combat, because this looks intense. While you're watching this, you can kind of feel the intensity here. You have a lot of screen shake, a lot of destructible environments, there's a lot of particle effects going on. It looks very, very impressive, and it looks intense. I feel like you're going to be able to feel that while you're playing the game, just how intense it is when you're fighting that boss, when he's trying to kill you. It just looks very, very well done. And it also looks like the boss actually wants to kill you, which is something that, again, it's a bit of a pet peeve for me. But in, boss rush sort of games, or games that have a lot of bosses, sometimes it can feel like the bosses aren't actively trying to kill you and they're instead just kind of trying to test you. This was something that I noticed in Elden Ring quite a lot, not in the DLC, that was difficult. But in the base game, a lot of the bosses didn't feel like they were actively trying to kill you. They just felt like they kind of had a moveset and they were just testing you, hey, learn my moveset to beat me. Whereas in this, it really does look like the bosses are trying to kill you a lot more. They're coming at you with a lot of combos, very hard hitting. Again, there's a lot of screen shake and camera effects going on, which usually I don't like in video games, but it looks like it's going to be really good in this one. And in general, yeah, it just looks like the boss genuinely wants to kill you rather than, having a specific moveset and kind of testing you against it. It just looks like a guy who's very angry and genuinely wants you dead, which is very cool. Now, in these gameplay snippets, these bosses have 3 phases, which is very interesting. It's a very interesting choice. This isn't a Souls-like, just for the record. That is the only thing I know about it 100%. It is not a Souls-like. And as you can see just from this gameplay here, the combat looks pretty easy in general. It doesn't look like you're going to have a super tough time with these bosses. It doesn't look like you're going to die a lot. The way I'm imagining it, or the way I think their vision is here, is that these bosses aren't specifically meant to challenge you. They don't have 3 phases to be difficult. They have 3 phases to kind of draw out the fight, because they want these fights to be huge and to feel epic, and to feel like you're actually achieving something big, like you're actually in a gigantic fight with a monster or some kind of, powerful person. They want the fight to last a long time, and I think that's why it has 3 phases, not to be difficult, but just to make the fight last longer and feel more epic. And honestly, if that was their goal, it works, because I thought the first fight I seen was the guy on the throne. I don't remember his name. But he's just a guy wearing a bear hat, and that looked very epic. It was like a 7-minute boss fight, him just constantly charging at you, destroying the environment, just constantly trying to kill you, and the player, dodging and then hitting back. But my absolute favorite boss fight that I've seen so far from this game is the one with the snow yeti. I don't remember what it's called, sorry, but yeah, it's basically like a big white snow yeti, and it kind of traps you in the environment, and then you get into a big boss fight with it. I thought that was very cool. First of all, I just want to say, I really appreciate that attention to detail of the boss actually creating the boss arena. rather than it just be somewhere you walk into and then you're kind of trapped in it because of magic or something. Or maybe they could have used like the wind that they use in there, like the snow, storm and stuff to trap you in it, which they did do, but they make an effort into making the boss actually create the arena in the cutscene, which I thought was very cool. It's a very small attention to detail, but I noticed it, and I think that, you know, it's very cool. It goes quite a long way, I think. It's just something we haven't really seen before, or at least not very often. But yeah, this was personally my favorite boss. It just looked absolutely insane. Again, you had a lot of the camera effects going on to make it look really intense. But the boss moveset I noticed was just very clean as well. The animations in this game are super clean. There isn't really any snapping going on or anything like that. It does just seem really, really clean. Again, obviously this is a Gamescom trailer, so maybe it's edited or maybe it's a very specific vertical slice. Either way, everything we saw looks absolutely incredible, and I can only imagine how incredible it's going to be to play as well. But I do have some feedback, as I mentioned, and it's kind of just only one thing really. I think it would be cool if the bosses changed between phases, because the bosses that they've shown so far don't actually change each phase. So you kind of complete a phase, you get a cutscene, and then they get a full health bar again, and you go into phase 2. And they do have different move sets. I do feel like that's very important to note. You're not fighting the exact same boss again. They do have a complete new move set, I've noticed, but they don't have any visual changes. Like, I would have liked it if, for example, the big, white monster thing that you're fighting, maybe, it lost one of its antlers or something like that. Even if it's just like a minor detail like that, just something to kind of make the visual design of the boss interesting, between each phase, I think would have been really cool. I don't know if that's something that they can add in this late into development, but I don't know. I hope some of the bosses have that at the very least. But yeah, other than that, I thought it looked really, really great. And the Yeti boss, again, that I keep talking about, that boss was actually introduced through a quest, because you're doing a quest to try and find somebody, and then you end up finding these bandits who then end up, running into the Yeti. And again, that's kind of what gave me the Witcher vibe a lot, because he walks up to these bandits and he kind of introduces himself, they threaten him, and then he ends up like killing them. It looked very Geralt to me, and that is why I'm getting the Witcher vibes. And then of course you end up fighting a big monster. So I'm still not 100% sure what this game is, but if it is a game where you go around fighting big monsters and it is kind of witchery, that is gonna be probably my most anticipated game of next year. I absolutely loved The Witcher, and to be able to actually play more of that would be, incredible. It's kind of what I'm waiting for, The Witcher 4. This looks like it could potentially scratch that itch, and although it isn't The Witcher in terms of setting or atmosphere, it does look to be in gameplay a little bit, and that really, really does interest me. Now again, this isn't the first time we've got gameplay of this game. We did get some, I think last year or maybe the year before, I don't remember. It was a while ago, and it looked really interesting there as well. It looked much less witchery. You were kind of like vaulting over walls and fighting guys and stuff. It's a very confusing thing. I'm not really sure what this game is, but either way, the 4 bosses that they've shown here do look incredible, and I am very, very hooked. We also saw in the crab boss fight as well that you could actually fly. We saw a few times that the character would go up in the air and then start gliding around a lot. We saw, again, a little bit of the movement a few years ago when they showed off the last bit of gameplay. So it looks like the game is going to have a diverse movement set, as well as really cool combat. My only question left, really, for this game before I get super hyped about it is kind of, are there any RPG mechanics? And I mean in terms of the story and the quest. Will you be able to make choices and speak to people? Will it like play similar to The Witcher 3 in terms of the questing and side quests? Because if so, if this is like a Witcher game but it's set in the Black Desert universe, I am all in. I'm absolutely all in. You have my attention and you have my sale. But even if it isn't, even if it's just, a basic action adventure game and, the side quests and story, there's not really any choices in it, this still looks good. The bosses, again, looked very, very fun to fight. The combat looks absolutely insane, like genuinely like peak combat here. Combine that with an interesting open world, a ton of interesting side quests, you have a very, very interesting game there, and a potential maybe game of the year for 2025. And I know that's a very bold statement. We're getting a lot of games in 2025, but this one, I don't know, dude. There's something about it. It just looks absolutely incredible to me, and I'm definitely going to be watching for more information on it. But yeah, that is just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below of Crimson Desert. Does it look like, you know, The Witcher to you? Does it look like something you would be interested in? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you know when I next upload a video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Jake and I will see you next time.